Can it be? We have the first essence to be account-wide in 8.3, and Mistweaver monks rejoice, for lots of buffs are coming your way. New buffs coming to corrupted, positive effects, new Rathion cinematic, new mythic only Nazot phase, new tank threat changes, and many new other things. So sit back, grab a snack, and relax for a brand new On Cooldown, your weekly WoW news show.
Starting it right off the bat, man, Memory of Lucid Dreams rank 4 will be account-wide, and this is really interesting, and I'll tell you why. It's no secret at this point that the biggest concern going into 8.3 is the fact that the essence grind is a big pain. Over the course of the last few weeks, Blizzard has continuously nerfed the grind to get certain essences, and every new nerf seems to be at the behest of the community, which Blizzard doesn't actually address, but more like tries to patch the issue. The issue isn't solved by this. No matter how many patches Blizzard does, the end goal, it seems, is essences account bound, at least in a certain fashion, and the first step towards this is clearly making Memory rank 4 account bound, which is nice, but doesn't address the issue of a player deciding to play a different character in 8.3 but cannot play 8.3 because said player has to play 8.2 instead, so he can grind the tools necessary to tackle 8.3. Although an unpopular opinion, I believe a new player has to do the grind on his main if he or she joins BFA in 8.3. This is an MMO. What's the point of you or me spending time and effort to get something if someone who isn't even playing the game gets it for free in the next season? Invalidating player effort goes against what MMOs are and slowly turns WoW into something else. The argument is not the same for alts though. You already paid for the game, you already grinded and got the essences at max power rank, but you want to play a different alt or even a different spec since this is part of the game engine you paid for. But you cannot play said alt since it's too weak to handle the content you are supposed to handle without getting the reward for the grind again. With this being said, Worldvein Resonance is getting a major buff, where on live it boosts you by a 50% increase to your main stat. On the PTR it will give you a 300% increase. Wow! So the essence wasn't off by just a bit now, was it? Piling on top of the buffs, reinforcing the alt argument, are the Mistweaver monk buffs coming to 8.3, and yes, more and more buffs to Mistweaver, which, first of all, yay for monks, and second, this is just showcasing why people want to play alts. Their main class is so undertuned that it needs to have at least 3 or 4 sets of fucking buffs, and this isn't something affecting just Mistweavers, and we all know that. Cocoon scaling has changed to 60% of the caster's maximum health from 1100% of its spell power. This changes to address the scaling issue with Cocoon, where apparently was weaker than it should have been, and now looking at it clearly, the PTR version is almost 3 times as strong. Monks also get buffs across the board to pretty much all healing spells, and this isn't something new. This has been announced for a while, and piling this on top of the numerous Rising Mist changes might actually see Mistweavers in a decent spot. One last clarification, the new Death Knight passive announced in 8.3, Veteran of the 4th War, will affect new Death Knights, specifically allied race Death Knights, to signify their lore and fantasy, since they didn't actually get raised by Arthas to be veterans of the 3rd War. This doesn't mean that all DKs get another 10% extra stamina on top. I am mentioning this since we get comments and messages on our stream about this and wanted to just clarify this.
I gotta say, man, this has been the busiest PTR you've ever seen. I mean, they are really trying to fix a lot of things, but this one is a bit, well, let's take a look. So the BOEs that drop from the raid can now get corrupted. So everybody on the trash wagon, it's time to make some sweet gold. Hell no, fool! There is no goddamn trash until the first boss of the raid, but this isn't really that important. You're probably thinking that, hey, they're adding the chance of corrupted on BOEs, and this is kind of, sort of, looks like a short range G? Yep, it kind of does, but okay, they're just BOEs, which you will probably sell at the auction house. And man, when you do that, imagine folks fresh in the game for 8.3 looking at these items, not understanding what the fuck is going on. Although the UI does explain what corrupted is once you equip one of these bastards. The affixes are nice and all, but you cannot escape this torturing thought that, quote, having a chance, unquote, to corrupt is RNG, isn't it? Kinda, maybe. I'm curious though on what you think of this whole BOE situation, so let me know in the comments. But wait, there's more. Among the surprises you keep on receiving on the PTR, one big one is the buff to the positive stuff you get with corrupted gear. You with me? Okay, so in 8.3, RNG is gone and replaced with corrupted. This will work as a kiss curse mechanic, meaning that an item that is corrupted will provide you with a positive effect and a negative effect. Until recently, the negative effects were pretty interesting, and you did hear us say in the past that the positive ones should be a bit higher in order to make it worth it when equipping an item in 8.3. Well, my friend, they did just that. I mean, dear lord, they've thrown massive amounts of buffs to all positive, static, and proc stats on all the corrupted gear, making a lot of the specs that play heavily around haste, crit, mastery, or versatility to get a huge leap, and possibly even changing the whole playstyle, talent build, and essences that they normally would have looked for. Now listen, you probably know I'm not the biggest fan of kiss curse mechanics, and more specifically what they are doing with this corrupted system, because as I said before, this is the third or fourth system to be added on the biggest fuck up BFA had to offer, the gearing system. Well, this apart from the bland classes and the stupid GCD change. But yo, you're not here to see me rant, because as much as I desperately want them to make essences account wide and just focus on the goddamn endgame as they did in many previous successful expansions, I cannot not appreciate the fact that once again they are listening to your voice. As you can imagine, the PTR forums had plenty of topics yelling that the positive from corrupted don't match up the rewards when compared to the negatives. So they addressed that. All this being said, plus the fact that they are pushing new changes and updates almost daily, please take into account that you are still looking at a PTR and more iterations are bound to come. But wait!
Yeah?
Nah, I'm just messing with you.
I made a feedback post about orcs being mistreated in a workplace, so that means they are looking at it, right?
Nah, man, nah, get the fuck out, get the fuck out.
Let's talk nerfs, the good and the bad, or maybe just the good this time. The tank threat system will change in 8.3, essentially nerfing the grind you need to do again for the essences. Right now, tank threat scales with the amount of essence slot you have unlocked, meaning that in theory, with the same gear, you do reduced threat with a lower level neck. This is no longer the case in 8.3, where tanks will just do 50% bonus threat after unlocking the major, and not a scaling 54% over the course of leveling your neck. This is a pretty trivial change for most people, since unlocking the last minor is not a big grind, but the meaning behind the change is important. Blizzard doesn't want to gate power behind a faulty system they added to fix an even faultier system they got us stuck with. And although in an MMO gating power behind grind is common and should be the case, threat seems to be something else. When you are undergeared compared to your team, you are already doing less threat than a proper tank for them should do. Pile on top the fact that your threat is lowered since your neck is also not grinded, makes it a double dip into giving you a very hard time doing the content that you're supposed to be doing to get to the point where you achieve what you need to achieve to actually start pushing tough content. I mean, I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. Moving forward, last episode we covered mythic dungeon nerfs to Freehold and Mechagon, since the scaling is out of whack for certain dungeons and certain abilities, especially with certain affixes. King's Rest is next on the list. Probably the first dungeon we did that we thought, wait a minute, this shit is way more difficult than the others, what the fuck? Nerfs to boss and trash mob damage abilities are going across the board to tune it down, and likely this will not be the last mythic dungeon nerfed, and we fucking hope it isn't. Looking at you, told the motherfucking gore. A few of the mythic palace bosses are seeing nerfs as well, now that we are reaching the end of the season. Ajara specifically seeing nerfs across all difficulties to the amount of health reduction per stack you get when soaking wards to power them back up. This essentially lets people soak up to 2 more stacks than normal, which can drastically improve the success rate of the encounter, and of course these changes apply to live only.
And in today's comment of the day, we have the Japanese God. And he said,
Ichiban, when is it going to be released?
The patch! It needs to be released! What do we do?
Release the Kraken!
Okay, this next part contains a spoiler with Raytheon. Nothing big, but still, if you don't wanna, now's your chance. I'm waiting. Still here? Well, good for you, as we are looking at an in-game cutscene witnessing Raytheon's transformation into a dragon, and of course we are not showing the whole thing here, but we shall provide you with a link in the description. And without going in too deep into the nasty spoiler territory, just note that this is all part of the questline involving you getting the legendary cloak. Legendary cloak? Yeah, legendary cloak. Legendary cloak. Well, bummer, the cloak will not provide sanity reduction anymore in the fight against N'Zoth, which is super funky because Ian, as a coach to us, said that the cloak would come in handy once we face N'Zoth, and since the multi-eyed tentacle old god will have insanity for us to deal with, it only made sense that this is why we need the legendary cloak in the raid. Maybe it's a typo, but the new tooltip clearly states reduce sanity loss within the horrific visions. Now, this doesn't render the cloak useless, as upgrading it will still help you reduce corruption, allowing you to equip more and more corrupted gear, on top of the unused effect that will completely clear off of you the corruption for 6 seconds, and the fact that it increases its item level with every upgrade. This just in, Blizzard has released a new video on the holiday sale, and this must be a dislike record or something, because I didn't even get to finish my breathe in, breathe out, and boom, 31% like the dislike ratio. Hey man, listen, I'll be the first to say, and this is not the first time, that mounts on sale are total bullshit and should not belong in an MMO. I don't and never liked it, but holy shit are they ripping the guts out of the comment section. You got beautiful gems like your EA is showing, or
I'm so excited to not spend any money on this.
and we cannot forget the came, disliked, left, did my duty. It's almost a meme now whenever Blizz releases these types of videos, but you really find it hard to pity them, as this is purely 100% a creature created by them. Man, we missed y'all. We didn't do an episode last Friday because we didn't have enough topics, but,
Yeah, but
this week...
Holy shit, man. We had to even skip a couple of topics. Like, what kind of topics did we skip, man?
No, we're covering them right now, because
shit.
the transmog shit, I mean, nobody cares. Transmog shit, look at that transmog. No, nobody cares about it. We ain't talking about transmog shit in all cooldown, okay? But we are going to talk about the release date.
Oh shit!
We know.
Yeah, it's been announced yesterday that the patch will be released on the 14th of January for US and consequently 15th for EU, and the raid only 1 week later, man. I mean,
That's the big surprise.
Yeah.
That's the big surprise. They never done this. I mean, usually the raid would come out after minimum 2 weeks, maybe 3, something like that. What was it in April 2? It was
31 days.
And speaking about the raid, every goddamn YouTuber talked about this already, but hey, we're gonna talk about it anyways. The mythic only N'Zoth phase. What you think on that?
Well, it's a quote called the secret phase, although the players have and the community have been speculating that there's probably a mythic phase for N'Zoth before this was even confirmed, kind of.
Okay.
Where it might clarify as to what Sylvanas meant with all her dialogues about N'Zoth, him serving her in death or whatever that. So I'm thinking it's kind of something like that.
Yeah. Well, one thing we know for sure, that any mythic phase only phase is canon. Ian Ghostus did say this previously, that everything that happens in mythic only phases is canon, and there was I'm pretty sure there's Gul'dan, right, that had a mythic only phase. But talking about canon story, I know that in Legion, I don't know exactly the raid because I didn't raid, but there was a mythic only in Legion where you fought Archimond or killed Jaden, and someone got killed in the Nether, like being killed forever, and that was not in heroic. People didn't get to see that, right?
I don't remember that, but I knew the WoD had one too in Heimal as well with Cho'Gall. So
well, yeah. So it's cool, and I'm really waiting for it. They didn't do any mythic only shit in BFA whatsoever, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be incentivized to do mythic raiding.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have time for that because I need to edit a lot of this shit. So yeah, but we always have time for our Patreons. And man, let me tell you, I cannot say this enough. We are ever grateful, and we want to thank each and every one of y'all. It's gonna take too much time to name all of y'all, but you should see yourselves on the rolling screen right about now.
Yeah, we are super grateful. You make all of this so much more enjoyable for us and so much more, let's say, stress-free. And it means a lot to us. And hey, if you're also interested in how you can support us a little bit more and maybe get some goodies on the way, check the links down below.
I cannot forget about all of the Twitch subs, Twitch viewers, the Twitch people who play Mythic Plus with you on the stream.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
And also, I'm saying this for a lot of the videos recently, the Discord gang, man, we have like right now that shit is like booming up. Like I literally can say that on our Discord, if you go on the artwork and memes channel, you can, whatever bad day you have, you can always get a smile from going there. It's amazing.
The talks that we have there, man.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think people would talk about.
Yeah, you'd think we'd talk about World of Warcraft and shit, but that's, you know, that's a side way. We talk a lot about food and
about food for sure. But you know, we're not gonna spoil it for you. You gotta check the Discord out first.
Yeah, it's definitely not safe for kids. This video is not for kids, and Discord is definitely not for kids.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, this must be the last on cooldown. I
think so, man. Yeah.
I don't know about this year, but definitely up until Christmas. And we were gonna take this opportunity to wish you all happy holidays.
Yep.
Have a great Christmas Eve with your friends, your family. Enjoy it. And also, we have a special treat for you on Christmas Day as well. You should definitely stick around the channel. Normally, we put guides on Wednesdays, but we made something really cute and funny, and we hope you enjoy it. So this doesn't mean we're taking a break, but we did do a lot of videos prior to this, so we are essentially trying to enjoy ourselves as well for this Christmas time. But videos are still going to be pumping. Couple of streams here and there, not as often, but you know,
I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, we'll definitely know it. And with that, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Have a great time, and we'll see you in the next one.